ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुकारस्त्वन्दकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। So, the text that we are going to study is Sadhan Panchakam. It is actually a stotra or a hymn that is attributed to Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji. It is one of the many hymns that he has composed. Panchakam, am I audible to all of you? Yes. Panchakam means a group of 5 verses. And this 5 verses, the subject matter of this 5 verses is sadhana. Sadhana means leading to self-knowledge, or the means or the spiritual practices that a seeker undertakes to accomplish the goal of life. So, the subject matter of this 5 verses is sadhana. Now, what I propose to do is, before we get into the text proper, I thought it will be better and proper to talk about the author. Of course, you all know about Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji, but still, it is always, better to get some information regarding the author before we enter into his work. Let me tell you at the outset that the very fact that we are having a camp like this, we are studying Vedanta. These days we can study Vedanta from great acharyas, have camps like this, study Upanishads, Brahma Sutra, etc. All this would not have been possible had it not been for the Vibhuti called Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji. To talk about him really is to unfold Ishvara. Of course, every teacher of Vedanta is Ishvara only, but more so in case of Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji. Therefore, we are totally indebted to him for the precious knowledge of Vedanta that we are getting, and we will ever remain so, because of the contribution that he has done to this Vedic culture. There was a time about 1250 years ago when India was passing through a tumultuous phase of total unrest and strife in all the fields, social, political, spiritual. In all these fields, it was a dark period. And at that time, people had absolutely no guidance regarding what is the goal of life, why have we come here for, etc. And to make the matters worst, there were so many schools of thought prevailing in India at that time, and each of them were very powerful in their own manner. Particularly, the Buddhas and the Jains had attacked the Vedic culture. Indian culture is nothing but Vedic culture. And this Vedic culture was totally torn apart at that time. Buddhas came as a protest to Vedic culture, in as much as Buddha preached non-violence, which was nice, which was a noble concept. And it had so happened that due to the lack of great leaders and acharyas, the principal purport of the Vedas was lost to people. There was nobody to guide people regarding that, and therefore there were many vested interests, and lot of corruption and distortion also had entered into the Vedic culture because of the lack of knowledge. It happens with any religion, any tradition, when after a long time, as Bhagavan also says in Bhagavad Gita, Sakale neha mahata yogo nashtaha parantapa. Bhagavan says that I had myself initiated this tradition, imparted the knowledge, but still a time came when the knowledge got into the back burner and the rest of the things, artha and kama, prevailed. Dharma calls for a lot of discipline. Dharma calls for a lot of self-control, etc. And when that is found missing, when that is not found in people, then unfortunately, artha and kama, when people have value for that, and when the real meaning and the purpose of life is not understood, it is bound to happen that artha will gain prominence, kama, sensuous pleasures, etc., seeking enjoyment from the world outside, all these things will become predominant. And that is what had actually happened. In the Vedic culture, the acharyas, not knowing the real message of the Vedas, gave prominence only to ritualism, rigid ritualism, where again the meaning was lost, and only some of the practices, some of the animal sacrifices, etc. became prominent. People were fed up with this. Naturally, people were fed up. And along with this, there were many other practices, heinous practices, going in the name of religious sanction. There was Tantra. Tantra practice also flourished. Actually, Tantra is a form of worship where the goddess is worshipped, the female divinity is worshipped. But again there, lot of distortion had entered, and the ferocious form of the goddess was worshipped, which demanded, according to them, according to those panditas, tantric panditas, it demanded animal sacrifices and many other things, heinous practices went on. People did not understand, and they blamed it upon the Vedic culture. It is at this time that Lord Buddha, Gautam Buddha came, and he preached non-violence, which was nice. He was an apostle of non-violence, ahimsa, which was great in itself. But along with preaching non-violence, he also sidetracked the Vedas. He was indifferent to the real message of the Veda, which is nothing but Jiva Brahma Aikya. Nothing but, and there cannot be any fulfillment in life without this identity of Jiva and Ishvara. But all this was missed by him. Whether he deliberate, I cannot say that he deliberate, but somehow they did not pay, even Mahavira, Jainism, they also did not pay heed, they did not take into consideration this part of the Vedas. And therefore, they emphasized only upon ahimsa, which was a noble concept. We do not deny that. But it is like throwing, they say, throwing the baby with the bath water. The bath water is to be thrown away, but not the baby. It is full of life, and that is what we love. That is what we want. But that did not happen, unfortunately. Both Bauddhas, Mahaviras, Jains, completely they did not, first of all, they did not accept Vedas as pramana. They do not believe in God also. Where will people go? People need something. They need a shelter where they can approach, seek help. Without all this, people were, all lost. They had nobody to turn to. And they were conveniently drifting along the Buddha philosophy, Jain philosophy, and Mimamsakas, etc. had nothing concrete to offer to them. It is at this time of need, the need of the hour was for someone very great, someone very powerful. And they say, there is a very famous verse regarding this, that at that time, regarding the incarnation of Lord Shiva, it is said that Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, both of them along with other deities, they approached Lord Shiva and prayed for his help, prayed to revive the Vedic culture. They could not see that it is on the brink and almost disintegrating. So they prayed to him, and listening to their plea, Lord Shiva promised to incarnate himself. And that is how we say that, that is how Shankaracharya is none other than Lord Shankara, Shankaram, Shankaracharyam. We just recited this prayer. Shankaram, Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya ji is none other than Lord Shiva himself. See, there are many kinds of incarnations. Lord Vishnu has also come and incarnated in so many of his forms, but he came as Lord Rama, came as Lord Krishna. But they carried out different kind of works. Different work was done, removing the destruction by removing the asuras and all that. Beautiful in its way. But here a different kind of work was required, and that was to be done. So, and Bhagavan himself has promised, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijamyaham. Whenever there is decline in dharma, I will come. And he comes, Side by side, it so happened that in Kerala, in the village called Kaladi, there was a couple highly devoted to Lord Shiva. But they did not have any children. So they were praying to Lord Shiva, Chandramauleshwara, to give them an issue, a child. And one day, Lord Shiva appeared before them in the dream. Before that couple was Shivaguru and Aryamba. Shivaguru as his name, he was also devoted to Lord Shiva and a guru like Bruhaspati. He himself was like that. And his wife was Aryamba. Shiva appeared before them and he proposed two options before the couple. Lord Shiva said, either I propose to you, either I will come, either I will give you a child, a son, who will be very brilliant, remarkable, but he will have a very short span of life. And the other option is, I can give you a son who will live long, no doubt. He will be living very long, but he will be an ordinary person. The couple, Shivaguru and Aryamba, opted for the first one. A child with a short span of life, but highly intelligent, remarkable and all that. And in due course of time, the Aryamba delivered this child. Since he was prasada from Lord Shiva, they named him Shankara. Shankaroti iti Shankaram. One who bestows auspiciousness is Shankara. And what great auspiciousness can there be other than knowing that you are Brahman, you are what you are seeking. And that was the message that Shankara had to give in his Sri Shankaracharya ji had to give. As if, the grand finale of life he laid out before us. So, Shankaroti iti Shankaram. That is what his name means. He was born about, as I said, 1250 years ago, or 788 AD, in the month of Vaishakha, on Shukla Panchami day, and it was Sunday on that day. So that is how came Sri Shankaracharya ji. And he brought omniscience along with him. Within 3 years only, within 3 years of his life, the first 3 years, he mastered his mother tongue Malayalam. And then unfortunately, Shivaguru the father wanted to give him the sacred thread very soon so that he can be sent to Gurukulam. But unfortunately he himself passed away. But the mother saw to it that the sacred thread is given, and then he was sent to the Gurukulam. Within 3 years only. So, in 3 years, he mastered the whole Vedanta, completed the whole course, knew everything, and came back. One more important thing, just to show how great he was right from the beginning. We can't even imagine at the age of 3 knowing the mother tongue and composing and teaching and all that. It's just beyond us. But that was what he was right from the beginning. Then, when he was in the Gurukulam, at that time itself, one day when they went for Bhiksha, Brahmacharis went for Bhiksha, to receive Bhiksha. And then he went to the house of one of the houses, Grihastha. There, he says, Bhagavati Bhikshan Dehi. Oh mother, please give me Bhiksha. But he saw that the woman, the lady of the house was so poor, that they were so poor that she had nothing to offer to him, but the value was there. So there was one fruit, Amalaka fruit, one small fruit that she, with tears in her eyes, she offered to this child, ascetic who has come. And he was so moved, visibly moved by this thing, that he prayed right there to Goddess Lakshmi to shower to shower wealth and remove poverty from this place, from this house. And right there he composed, with this feeling in his mind, he composed Kanakadhara Stotra. That is the famous Stotra. And he could see, the golden amalas, the fruits, showered from the sky, and that is how their poverty was removed. This is just one incident which happened during that Gurukulam. Then he came back and at his place, and again immediately started teaching. He was very well versed, and so many people, learned scholars, were also coming to learn from him. Then one more incident that happened, we'll just briefly look into the life sketch. Then one more incident happened. He was extremely devoted to his mother. One day what happened, and she used to go to river Purna, which was flowing on that side, to take the dip in the river. One day she did not come back at her time. And then child was Sri Shankara was very much perturbed, and so he went in search of her. And in the middle of the road he saw that she was lying unconscious. So again he prayed to Lord Achyuta to see to it that the river flows close by to their house, so that mother need not go far away. And the next day it so happened that the river Purna began to move near their house. So these are some of the miracles that happened in his early life. Then he has already decided, he is aware of the mission of his life, and he expressed his desire to take sannyasa, to renounce and go. But the mother would not permit. She said that you are my only child, who will look after me after you go. So no, you're nothing doing, you are not going. Then one day it so happened that she was sitting on the shore of the river and he was taking dip, and doing his prayers. At that time, suddenly a crocodile, you all know this, a crocodile caught hold of his leg and was pulling him. At that time he shouted to his mother and said, please mother, allow me to take sannyasa now, permit me for that, so that I can take, because it is in our tradition, you know, that even if you take sannyasa at the end of the life, then also you go straight to Brahmaloka. So it is apata sannyasa. So you please give me now, allow me to go. And she said, okay, I permit. And then in front of all the 5 elements, he declared that I am renouncing everything. And the moment he declared that, the crocodile left his leg and he was free. He came back and then he says, now I am going. Mother says, we'll go back home. We are going back home. He says, nothing doing, now I am leaving. With a very heavy heart, you know. Mother had to give him her consent, and then he left. He left, and before leaving, he was to go in the search of his guru. But where to go? So it is said that at that night, Lord Krishna, who is supposed to be their Ishtadevata, family Ishtadevata, came in his dreams and directed him to go towards north on the bank of river Narmada, where he will find his guru Govinda Padaji. So the child from south, at that age, he's barely 8, he walks and goes to the bank of the river, where he finds his guru in one of the caves over there. There were so many students also, and he requested for being taken as a disciple. The guru accepted him, and then he stayed there for 3 years, again studied everything. Again there, a very important incident took place. One day, the river Narmada was flooded, and the water was, the cave was on a higher place, but still the water was coming towards the cave also, where the guru and other students were there. What Sri Shankara did was, when he saw that the water is about to enter the cave, he took his kamandalu, kept it right in the front of the gate of the cave, and then recited Jalakarshana mantra, a verse. And what happened was, all the water of the Narmada got compressed in that kamandalu, and within a few minutes, the river was in the flood subsided, and it took its normal course, and water did not enter the cave. When the teacher came to know about this, he remembered what Veda Vyasji had foretold. What Veda Vyasji had said? He had said to Govinda Padaji that the day when one of your students, when he comes and when he can do this, when he can compress the waters of the Narmada in his kamandalu, understand that the one who can write the commentary on Brahma Sutra, which is composed by me, has arrived. This is what he remembered, and then he gave his permission to Sri Shankara, you better now proceed towards Kashi. You have to do a lot of work, so you better go. So this is how Sri Shankaracharya ji left Narmada, and after he left, the Guru took Samadhi. That is besides the point. But then he proceeded towards Kashi. And he is barely 11 or 12 years old. And still in Kashi, you know, it's a place of learning, the main seat. And here also, people were, Panditas and Acharyas and whatnot, all of them were totally impressed by his learning. Then one day, here also an again very important incident took place. One day when he was coming back from, after taking a dip in the Ganges, and he wanted to go to the temple of Vishwanatha, he was coming back from a narrow road, and right in front of him stood a very stout and tall figure. Sri Shankara happened to say, Gacha, please move aside, because I want to go to the temple, so please move aside. The person who was there, he replied, he said, Annamayad Annamayam Athava Chaitanyameva Chaitanyat Duri Kartum Vanchasikim Bruhi Gacha Iti. He said, what it means is, oh dear, oh twice born. Dvijavara means, oh you are who you are, oh you who are twice born. When you are asking me to move aside, are you asking this body which is made of food to get aside from this another body which is made of food? Or, more striking than that, Chaitanya meva Chaitanya. Are you asking one awareness, one Chaitanya to go away from other? What are you asking me to do? Please say. Listening to these words, Sri Shankaracharya ji immediately he fell flat, did his Shashtanga Namaskara to that person, and composed. At that time the verse came out from his mouth, and that is Manisha Panchakam, group of again 5 verses, where he declares, that the one who knows, who has this knowledge of the one principle abiding in the entire creation, it is my conviction, Nunam Manisha Mama, that it is my conviction that this is my Guru, in whatever form he may appear before me. So this is just and then that person was Chandala was none other than Lord Shiva, and he directed him to proceed to Badrikashrama and do the rest of the work. He wanted him to write the bhashyas, the commentaries upon which we will come to now. Another important incident, see how things are happening, that I am telling you. Then another important incident which gave us Bhajagovindam. So again in Kashi, once when he was moving with his students, by this time he has already come across his 3 students. One of them is Sanandan, who came to be known as Padmapada later on. Another second student was Hastamalaka, and third one is Giri, who later on came to be known as Totakacharya. So 3 famous. He had 4 principal students. 3 he has already come across. Okay, and with all his students, he was again moving in Kashi, going to some place. That time he came across an old man. He must be about 80 to 85, and still he was reciting the grammar rules, Tukrum Karne. He was chanting them, memorizing them rather. Seeing this, Bhashyakara Sri Shankaracharya ji said, Samprapte sannihite kale nahi rakshati dukrum karne. When the time will come, then this is not going to protect you. So you better chant Bhajagovindam, say the name of the Lord. That is what is going to protect you. So that is how Bhajagovindama, that stotra also got composed. Then he proceeded towards Badrikashrama and started. Now comes the most important contribution to Vedic culture, in which lay the revival of our culture. He went to Badrikashram and began composing his Bhashyam, commentary upon Upanishads, upon Brahma Sutra and Bhagavad Gita. These are the 3 pillars which is known as Prasthana Trayi. These are the 3 important pillars upon which stands the edifice of Vedanta. And he began to write the commentaries upon that, because the prevailing commentaries were not enough. In fact, they did not quite give the message of the Upanishads, or Brahma Sutra was not understood by anyone at all so far. And so he began writing. He wrote commentaries upon 10 major Upanishads: Isha, Kena, Katha, Mundak, Mandukya, Prashna, Aitareya, Taitareya, Chandogya and Brihadan. These are the 10. Besides this also there are Upanishads are there, but he wrote commentaries upon these 10 major, which are taught, which facilitates the study of Vedanta. Not that others are not important, but this facilitates, and that is why he wrote Bhashyas upon them, clarifying, unlocking the meaning of the Upanishads. This one thing. He wrote even commentary upon the entire Bhagavad Gita. Second thing. And came the commentary upon Brahma Sutra. Besides, let me mention at this point, that besides Sri Shankaracharya ji, another important figure to whom we are indebted is Vedavyas ji. He came before him, of course, Badarayana, who has written Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is nothing but aphorisms. That was the style at that time, to write in sutras. In this sutra, Vedavyas ji has given the entire meaning of Upanishads in the most systematic and analytical way, where he has shown with reasoning that how, in spite of Upanishads being many and all of them teaching in their own way, but still the import, the principal theme of all the Upanishads is one, without any doubt. So this is very well and clearly brought out in Brahma Sutra. Bhashyakara could decipher the meaning of these sutras, which were, in the capsule form, very succinct, and nobody so far could understand what these sutras meant. But Bhashyakara could unlock, he had the key, to unlock the meaning, and that is how he made the meaning, the message of the Brahma Sutra applicable to people. It is said, in one very famous verse, that the necklace which Vedavyas ji had made in the form of the aphorisms, but nobody could buy this because of the lack of the artha, lack of the meaning. But it needed Sri Shankaracharya ji to come and give this to us. So this was composed. And besides this, just imagine, to writing a single book many times takes half of our life. Where to talk of so many things, and that too so quickly. Plus, with all this, his study is teaching the students is also going on. That is also, students are also learning. Along with this writing work is going on, and that too, that time there was no press, no paper, no pen, no computers, no printing, nothing. Everything was to be written on the palm leaves. It is not easy to write on that. But all this was, just imagine, why I am saying this is, just imagine the kind of mammoth and Herculean task Bhashyakara has, so that posterity is benefiting from this today. Up to this point, we are benefiting and reaping the fruits of what he has given to us. It's just to remind ourselves, even if we know this, it is just to remind ourselves of what this acharyas have done for us. Okay. And then one day, when in Badrikashram only, this study is going on of Brahma Sutra. Bhashyakara ji is teaching Brahma Sutra to his students. Then one day, an old man came, in the form of a Brahmin. He came there, and he was listening intently how Bhashyakara is unfolding the meaning of the sutras. And then he started discussing. He started raising questions to Bhashyakara, and he started replying. This went on for 8 days, 8 days this went on. The discussion between, he would raise different questions, Bhashyakara would reply, he would again ask. In this manner it went on. And then, one day, Padmapadacharya ji, Sanandan, he had some siddhis. He could make out, he could see that this is not an ordinary person. The one who has come is not an ordinary person. So he expressed his doubt before his teacher, Sri Shankaracharya ji, and said, in a beautiful verse, he says, Ayam Vyasohi Vedanta Rahasya Veta. He says to his teacher that this one is none other than Vedavyas ji, who knows the Vedanta. Tvam Shankaraha, Shankara eva sakshat. He says to his own teacher, you are Shankara, who is none but Lord Shiva himself. Vyasastu Narayana eva nunam. And Vedavyas ji is none other than Lord Narayana himself. Tayor vivade satatam prasakte. He says, when the discussion, the debate is going on between the two of you, Kim kinkaroham karvani sadhyaha. What should I do? Please tell me. Who is a servant of, an ordinary person, what should I do? Please tell me. Then Shankaracharya ji told this to that old man, and he said, please reveal yourself. Then he came in his form, Vedavyasi, and he was so pleased. An author will be pleased, when you may write, but unless and until, of course, it is just not for yourself and one more book in the library, but when it is written for a purpose, Vedavyasi has written this with a purpose, that the meaning should be clear. But it did not reach anybody. The writer gets rewarded only when his writing gets conveyed to people. And this would happen only now, because so far it was not available. So he was so pleased, so he granted another 16 years to Sri Shankaracharya ji. You remember, he had a short span of life. His lifespan was over by this time, 16 years. Another 16 years are given to him, so that, and he was directed, he said, now writing work is over. Major thing is over. Now please go and preach this. Please go and educate people about this. Major work is to be done. And now begins the missionary work. He comes down to plains and begins this work. What? Educating people, confronting different acharyas. As I said, how many different schools of thought were there? 72 or more than that. So many different schools, all of them very staunch in their beliefs. They existed. And now begins this work. Now it's the Vidyaranya Swami writes in his Digvijayam that the Digvijaya began now. Digvijaya means conquest in all the directions. This began. He travelled from the length and breadth of India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, not once, twice, but thrice. He went from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, east and west and everywhere, on his foot. There were no flights, there was no train, nothing like this. And each and every place he visited, met all the religious leaders and acharyas and all great kings and chieftains and everything, discussed with them with a concrete message, and he debated with them, because those days the style was that the debate was carried out, disputations would take place, and then the victor would be the other person, on the other side would have to adopt the philosophy or the message of the one who has vanquished the other one. That was the style. Bhashyakara did this. Let me tell you, not with the spirit of fighting and winning over. He won over each and every one with love, with devotion, and with the concern, karuna, with compassion, that you are misled. You do not know the real meaning, and by that you yourself are losing your life. This is a precious life. And if there is no cognitive change, what will happen? So better understand. And this is how, elaborately the message was conveyed, and one by one, slowly but surely, he is conquering. Then he came upon one day, he's carrying out his work, came upon the staunch champion, the champion of Purva Mimamsa. He was very strong, and that was Kumarila Bhatt. He was the champion of the Purva Mimamsa, which was a very, very strong position besides Bauddhas. And they believe the philosophy, the darshana that he had, that the goal of life is nothing but heavens, and we have to achieve this by rituals. That is the theme of the Mimamsaka, the Kumarila Bhatt. And he was very surely advocating this, and he was in his own way fighting against the Bauddhas also. But when he found that they are very hard to convert, what Kumarila Bhatt did was, he disguised, he wanted to have debates with even Bauddhas. But to be able to talk to them, he needed to know about their philosophy. And therefore, he disguised himself as one of the Bauddhas and entered into the Bauddha camp and learnt everything. But unfortunately, they came to know about this, and therefore they tried to get away with him by killing, they threw him from a hilltop, and this is what but fortunately he was saved. But he did not like this, that he felt that he had made a mistake by doing this, and therefore he was to atone for the guilt that he was feeling. When Shankaracharya ji met him, he was sitting in the midst of the fire, in the burning shaft, and he was immolating himself, this Kumarila Patta. But he said, I am very pleased to see you at the end of my life, and but I am not in a position to talk to you, so you better go and talk to my student, Vandana Mishra, who is in the south, and talk to him. And I wish that you talk to him and even make him understand this, because now I know what is the real meaning of life. And then Bhashyakara chanted Taraka Mantra, and then Kumarila Bhatt gave up his life that time. Then Bhashyakara now comes to Mahishmati, a very, very famous place, known only because of Vandana Mishra. That is, he was also an incarnation of Lord Brahma, that is what they say. He comes there, and then he could not enter because he was a very big palace and all that. It was there was no way that he could enter. So he airlifted, and then Bhashyakara had all kinds of siddhis also. He goes right in the middle of the house, and at that time a ceremony, Shraddha ceremony of his father was going on. So many people had gathered. Even they say that Jaimini, the Acharya of the Purva Mimamsa, and Veda Vyasi were present over there. And then he invites himself for the Vada Bhiksha, to debate. Vandana Mishra, he insulted, humiliated this Shankaracharya ji, because he did not believe in all this. He scoffed at the order of sannyasa. He tried to insult everything. But then the debate had to be carried out. And then in this debate, his wife, Ubaya Bharti, who was none other than the incarnation of Saraswati, she was placed as a moderator, and now the debate started. And she said that the condition was that whoever wins the debate, the vanquished person will have to adopt the philosophy, adopt the vision as well as the mode of life of the one who wins. And the condition was put that she gave 2 garlands, fresh flowers, garlands of fresh flowers, and put it in the neck of both the Vandana Mishra as well as Shankaracharya, and said the garland which fades first means the person has lost. And the debate went on. Can you tell me how long this debate? It went on for 18 days or perhaps more. Both the sides were very strong, but in the end, Shankaracharya ji won over. Won over means he could convert the heart and intellect of a person like Vandana Mishra. And then he also takes sannyasa, gave sannyasa to Vandana Mishra, and the name that is given to him is Sureshwaracharya ji. So this is the 4th disciple, one of the most prominent disciples of Sri Shankaracharya ji. All this is going on. And then one day he suddenly remembered, that he had promised to his mother that and I will come to you when it is your end time, because she wanted that. So now he remembered that she is not well and the end has come. So he again went to him and saw to it, gave him the darshana of her Ishtadevata, and saw to it that she passed away peacefully. This is what happened. And then he has almost completed his life mission, wrote so many Prakarana Granthas, plus carried out so many reforms. India needed that. One of the most important reform that he did was establishing the concept of Panchayatana Puja, which means, in those days, if somebody believed in Lord Shiva, then he would look down upon Lord Vishnu, and there was a lot of scuffle and strife going on in that field also. So Bhashyakara said, he instituted this concept Panchayatana Puja, which means that in which 5 deities are worshipped: Ganesha, Surya, Shiva, Shakti and Vishnu. And he said that the deity of your choice, your personal deity, is to be kept in the center, and in the four corners other four devatas, so that they also get respect. By this, Bhashyakara sent home the message that all the deities are nothing but manifestation of one Lord only. So there is no point in looking down upon the other one. And this is how he instituted this. Besides this, there must have been hardly a single temple where Bhashyakara did not visit. And he saw to it that the worship is going on properly. And if it needed a change, he recommended that. Installed the image also, whatever was needed, that he did. Very, very important reform. Another important reform was in the worship of Tantra, where, as I said, the ferocious form of the women, of the goddess, was worshipped. He transformed this into the benign one, and wherever it was needed, he installed Sri Yantra, and that was to be worshipped. In this manner, he's carrying out so many reforms. The principal message was that what you are seeking in your life is right within you, and that can be known only from the Vedas, and the message that the Upanishads have to give you. Learn that and make the success of your life, because that is what each and everyone is seeking. So that was his principal message. Then in the end, towards the end, he goes to north. In the Kashmir, there was Sharada temple, where it was said that if there was a Sarvagnya Pita, which means it was the seat of learning, meant for one who was omniscient. So his students, all of them, requested Sri Shankaracharya ji that he should try for this also, because that was needed. And he accepted the challenge, and he tried all the four gates, where he had to again he had to carry out debates with the different schools of thought, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, Sankhya, everyone, and very successfully, with devotion, with love in his heart, he did that and went straight in the center on his in the feet on the center of the seat, where it was accepted that he is Sarvagnya. With Padmapadacharya ji on one side, Sureshwaracharya ji on the other side, and followed by Hastamalaka and Totakacharya, he reigned upon that throne. This is how now his mission of life is over. Now he wants to wind up his life, and most of the work is over. But before leaving, he expressed this before his students, that now I want to leave. Then his students requested, why don't you give us one more message? We there is always a greed to learn more. He said, please give us one more message. At that time, he gave this Sadhan Panchakam, where the essence of the entire Vedas is given, of the Vedanta. And very beautifully, actually there are 5 verses, and in each verse there are 4 lines, and each of the line can be divided in 2 halves, where each half contains an instruction. So in each verse there are 8 instructions. In total they make up 40. So this way there are 40 instructions, the do's and don'ts for the seekers of moksha, and that is what he has given us in Sadhana Panchakam. This is how he composed, and then he went away. And before that, one very important thing, he saw to it that the posterity continues to get the knowledge of the Vedas, and that is why he established the mathas, the seats of learning, in the 4 directions of India. And there he established his 4 students. Let me tell you that, and one more thing, each side is connected, that is south, north, east and west, is connected with a Veda. So, eastern direction is connected with Rigveda. And there he established Padmapadacharya ji, and the matha that was made was Govardhana Matha in the east, that is Jagannatha. There he established his student Padmapadacharya ji. Southern direction is connected to Yajurveda, and there he placed his prominent student Sureshwaracharya ji in the Shrungeri Math. Then the northern direction is connected to Samaveda, and there he established Hastamalakacharya ji in Dwaraka, that is Sharada Pita, Jyotirmath. Then in the west western direction is connected to Atharva Veda, and there he placed Totakacharya ji in the Sharada Math. This is how in all the four directions mathas were placed, and he gave the Anushasana, means the disciplines to be followed, so that the dharma continues to be upheld. So that is how that also he managed to do. But Bhashyakara was a confluence of karma, devotion as well as knowledge. So all three, head full of intellect, heart full of devotion, and hands full of karma, and the right thing. With this three, he did what all he had to do, and passed away, and gave us this beautiful tradition. So this is Sri Shankaracharya ji, and it is this verse Sadhan Panchakam, which is a stotra, which we will be studying. As I said, sadhana means, the meaning of sadhana is means, but with the means, that which we want to accomplish is called the goal or sadhya. See, these are the words. Sadhanam can be there only when the appropriate sadhana will be there, when we have a definite goal in our mind. What is this goal? The goal is called sadhya, the end that we wish to accomplish in life. So one word is sadhya, the other one is sadhana, by which you accomplish your goal. And who is doing all this? Who is undertaking this? Sadhaka, the seeker who employs the means to reach the end. And having reached the end, he becomes siddha, means the goal is accomplished. All these four words, sadhaka, sadhya, sadhana and siddha, all these are derived from the root sad, which is in the sense of accomplishing. So we will be seeing from tomorrow onwards that every human being is seeking something. We may not know, but every human being is seeking something. And what is he seeking? In the words of Pujya Swamiji, everybody is seeking a pleased self. Everybody wants happiness. How much happiness do we want? How much? Tell me. This much? This much? This much? No. Limitless. And for what time? For 1 hour? For limitless time? Limitless. All the time. All the places. In all the conditions. In all the conditions. In all the time. This is what we are seeking. This is what we seek. But we are not clear about what can give us this. See, the sadhana becomes clear. Understand this well. The sadhana or the means become clear only when the sadhya is clear. Only when the goal of life is clear. Then only the means become clear. If I want to become a doctor and if that is clear to me, then it will be clear as to what line I have to take. If I want to become an engineer, then also it will become clear as to what stream I should take. If that is not clear, then one day I will go to the medical college, other day some other school, third day in the school of arts. Even when we set off from the house, if it is not clear as to where we want to go, if the destination is not clear, tell me which road we will take. Whichever looks beautiful, whichever is panoramic, whichever, depends upon your taste, depends upon what you like and what invites you. So only unless and until the goal is clear, the means also will not be clear. So what is important is we have to gain clarity about sadhya, the means that we wish to accomplish in our life. See, understand, we all are seeking, but we are not clear, we are not as much clear as we should be about the goal. We try in one place, another place, third place, and by that time we become 75, 80. And then we ask to Swamis or in some such place, what is the goal of life? Please tell me. Now we want to know about the goal. Now I am free. I want to know about the goal of life and how to accomplish it at the age of 75. At least now. See what I am trying to say, that the cream of life, the prime time of life sometimes passes away. We are so preoccupied with so many other things that we miss the main bus. We miss the bus. That should not happen. And therefore, this clarity is a prime it is very important that we have crystal clarity regarding the sadhya, regarding the sadhana. So, from tomorrow onwards, we will be doing that. And Bhashyakara has begun from the scratch. Right from the first step, he takes up it is like a ladder with the flight of steps are there. They are so designed that it takes up right up to the goal very, very systematically. So, from tomorrow, we'll begin with that. Okay? Thank you. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.